Welcome to Reviewsday Tuesday, where I take the time to give you a review on a book, a game, TV show, song, basically whatever I feel like giving a review about today. Today's Reviewsday Tuesday, we will be looking at a book called Let It Snow. It's a book written by Maureen, John Green, and Lauren Myracle. An ill-timed storm on Christmas Eve buries the residents of Gracetown under multiple feet of snow and causes quite a bit of chaos. One brave soul ventures out into the storm from her stranded train and sets off a chain of events that will change quite a few lives. Over the next 3 days, one girl takes a risky shortcut with an adorable stranger, 3 friends set out to win a race to the Waffle House and the hash-brown spoils, and the fate of a teacup pig falls into the hands of a lovesick barista. Maureen Johnson sets us off in the Christmas time setting of the story with the main character who will set off the chain of events, causing all the other stories to take place. The main character, Jubilee, who would like me to pause for a moment and remind you that she is not a stripper despite what the name may sound like, is sent on a train to visit her grandparents after her parents are arrested at a convention for the Floby Santa Village collection. Along the way, a terrible snowstorm causes the train to stop near a small town called Gracetown. To conserve power, the train cuts off power, and Jubilee, rather than staying on a really cold train car, decides to hop off and make her way to a nearby Waffle House for warmth. And that's all I'm saying about the plot, just so I'm not giving everything away. Now, for me, I have not read any of Maureen Johnson's writing style, so this was my first taste with her writing. And I really enjoyed reading it. The dry sense of humor she presents through the character had me laughing at, quite honestly, some of the most stupidest sentences I've ever read, but I really enjoyed reading them. Even though Jubilee is a female, I still felt connected to the story and immersed myself into the story. I felt like I was traveling through like 3 feet of snow just to get to the Waffle House for food. Next, John Green tells a story of a daring adventure in the pursuit of cheerleaders and hash browns. In an odd turn of events to John Green's normal writing style, not one of this characters has a weird quirk like memorizing people's last words or being a child prodigy. They're just normal teenagers. And when I say normal teenagers, I mean normal teenagers, because they're doing normal teenager things, like making poor life decisions. Tobin, the main character, and his friends JP and the Duke, which I will point out is a female character, but female with a male-like identity, is kind of very John Green, to be honest. They receive a message from a friend of theirs who works at the Waffle House, which incidentally is the same Waffle House that our main character Jubilee had visited prior. He mentioned that the Waffle House was full of cheerleaders, and let's just say he wants them over there with a game of Twister ASAP. Oh, and by the way, 2 other groups are also going to be making their way over with a game of Twister, and to make sure the guy-to-girl ratio is plenty of girls to one guy, only one group is allowed in at the time. So of course, Tobin and JP are all for the venture, while the Duke just says she's along for the hash browns. What follows is a series of poor life decisions that involve a car and driving through 3 feet plus of snow. And I must say, like, with the plot of mainly just having the guys go after the cheerleaders as like a prize, I didn't really enjoy this as much. I do like John Green's other work, but this didn't feel like his normal work. Granted, the entire thing isn't about them, but like that's what drives, like, all throughout the time when they like, oh, maybe we should turn back, JP is usually the one to say like, no, there's cheerleaders waiting for us, we must continue. And for me, I just don't like that type of story. Like, that's just not what I enjoy reading. That being said, like, the humor in it, I still really enjoyed because it's John Green's humor. I enjoy that sort of humor. But, like, just the main plot of it, I wasn't that big of a fan of. And finally, Lauren Myracle finishes off the set of 3 stories with probably my, like, least favorite story in the book. Now, I have not read any of her other work, so I have no idea if this is any indication of her normal writing style. That being said, when the main character is just kind of whiny and self-absorbed the entire time, it gets really hard to read. I didn't enjoy reading it. Compared to the other 2 stories by Maureen Johnson and John Green, it took me a while to get through this one. It took me about 2 days to get through both of the other stories, and another like 3 or 4 just to get through this last one. I'm usually a fast reader, so for me to take a lot longer just to finish 80 pages is not fun to read through. And granted, the character does kind of admit that she's been whiny and self-absorbed near the end of it, and that's kind of like the journey of her realizing that. But it's still not that fun of a read for me. Like, I didn't enjoy reading it. So, in short, I enjoyed reading Let It Snow by Maureen Johnson, John Green, and Lauren Myracle, but getting through the first two, A+, would recommend totally, and if you read the entire book, just take the last story by Laura and Myracle with a grain of salt, because it may take you a bit to get through. That's it for today's Reviewsday Tuesday. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for updates on when I make new videos. You can also check out just the text of my review of Let It Snow at Goodreads, where I've made an account, and link is in the description below. So until next time, see ya. Stupid clock.